Turn me up some. Whoa, whoa. Turn me up some.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Rant Show. I'm as always your host for this Rant Show, none other than N7X Caro. And believe it or not, as you can see on the screen, we have an extra face with us today. We have none other than a good friend of mine. You've seen him in my vlogs here on the channel, especially Otakon, when we both, me, him, and Alec went to the Final Fantasy VII Symphony together, right?
Yeah.
And he's a good friend of mine. This is, of course, Andrew. And we have him on the Rant Show here today because I'm going to be talking about something that I've kind of talked about before on the Rant Show, the subject of anime. Now, previously, I've been past Rant Shows, I've been more specific on the anime that I ran about, but this time, we're literally, since we're both very avid anime fans, we're just going to be talking on the subject of anime in general. Also, if you would like to follow Andrew on all of his social media, and any of his social media, the links for that will be down below, so please go check that out and show him some love. But with that being said, let's get into the conversation. And like I've already said, me and you both watch a lot of anime. Not always the same anime, but we watch a lot of anime. So, first question right off the bat. Right now, at the very least, if you can name them, what is your top 5 anime at this point?
Top 5 anime at this point.
Top 5 anime.
Okay. As far as, like, are you talking currently airing stuff or just in general?
In general. It could be stuff from, like, 10 years ago. It could be stuff that's currently airing.
That's actually, funnily enough, that's actually pretty easy for me. Top 5 is going to be...
Like, most of the time when I ask people that, it's that they can't do it.
Yeah, no, I think I have a pretty specific taste in the type of shows that I'm really into. So my top 5 are Patlabor on television, which is from the 90s. Yes, 90s.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, because I've never heard of that one. What's that one about?
So Patlabor is actually it's a show that takes place in the distant future. Well, distant future as of 90s Japan, right?
Yeah.
And in the world of Patlabor, they started making giant robots to assist in construction projects generally.
Okay.
But with the creation of these giant robots for construction, aka the labors, came labor-related crime, right? Because, you know, you have drunken guys going on a rampage with their labors or whatever. And so the Tokyo Metropolitan Police creates a special division for dealing with labor crimes where they have special police labors or patrol labors, which shortened is Pat labor. So the series follows the SV2 unit as they deal with the daily problems of labor crime and just being police in Tokyo and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a little long. I'm pretty sure the main series is 52 episodes. So it's a bit of a time sink, but I really like it.
What's the others?
So the next one would be Lucky Star, actually, from 2000.
That I know.
2006. Yes, everybody, we all know Lucky Star. We all know the little dance, you know, all that fun stuff. The third one is really obscure. It's an old show called Machine Hero Wataru.
That sounds familiar.
It's another robot show from the 80s.
Okay.
And in that show, the basic premise is there's this kid basically named Wataru, and he's got this dragon. I haven't watched a lot of it yet because Bandai actually is the one who made the show, and they're making a new season coming spring. So they started subbing the show and putting it on their YouTube channel. So that's how I've been watching it. But it's like a fun adventure show with Wataru and his friend Himiko, and they've got this dragon who turns into this robot, and it's a very like it's a very gamey show, and when I say that, I mean it's very much like a monster of the week sort of, go through the level, fight the boss, all right, and then it's on to the next thing. It's
Yeah.
very comedy heavy, lots of Japanese puns that are kind of hard to understand, but it's a really fun time. So I've been watching that, and I really like that. Number what? That was two. Number three is going to be, it's a hard toss up between either Sweet Precure or Precure Splash Star.
Okay.
Sweet Precure was from 2011. Splash Star was from 2006. Are you familiar with the Precure franchise at all?
I am a little familiar. One of their intros. I don't know if you ever saw one of the back on my old channel before I started the one that this video is obviously gonna go up on. Back on my
Mhm.
old YouTube channel, I did a dance for their. I think it was their intro was for Precure. I did the dance moves to their intro song. So I know
Okay.
I know a little bit about Precure. Not a lot, but I know a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah. Well, I guess a general take, it's magical girl type show.
Yeah.
It's way more action heavy than, stuff like Sailor Moon or even Cardcaptor Sakura. It's very, very shonen-y, right? Like, how fights are in something like Dragon Ball or
Yeah.
Naruto. It's a lot more like that, which is very appealing. I mean, you know, you got these middle school girls throwing punches at giant monsters. It's a great time. Each series is pretty similar. It's one of those long meta series, sort of like Power Rangers or whatever, where it's like each season we got a new crew, fight some new bad guys, have a
Yeah.
fun time.
Although,
My
have you watched any of the new Power Ranger at all? Power Rangers.
um the Beast Morphers one, I watched the first episode. I think I watched the first couple of episodes, and I thought it was
Oh,
interesting.
so I think it's pretty cool. Well, I don't think they did it in Beast Morphers yet, but in a lot of the most recent Power Rangers, series and stuff, like a lot of the OG Power Rangers have been showing up and making guest appearances, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's always really fun, right? When you have the older heroes come back,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my
Because the
gosh,
Green
it's
Ranger, Jason David Frank, I forget which recent Power Ranger series he made a few appearances in. And then
yeah.
just recently, I saw someone post an article about it on Facebook that even in, I don't know how long ago it was, probably like a month ago or whatever, but in a recent Power Ranger episode, Red Ranger, the OG Red Ranger made an appearance.
Yeah, I had seen that actually. I think that was in Dino Charge, I
I
think.
think it was Dino Charge, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that. That was pretty cool. I hadn't been watching it week by week at that point, so it was one of those
Yeah.
things where somebody told me about it and I was like, "What?" So I went and watched it. It was a pretty good
Yeah.
crossover.
I
Um
I just recently got the I found it on eBay, of course, but I recently just got the DVD of the OG Power Ranger movie with Ivan Ooze.
oh my gosh. It has been a long time since I've
Oh yeah,
seen that.
I've yet to throw it in and watch it to try and relive my childhood, but
Yeah,
it's been a hot minute since I've seen that movie.
yeah. How did it hold up though? Like, cuz I haven't seen it
I
recently.
haven't watched it yet. I just got the
Oh, okay.
DVD in the mail the other day.
That's great. Honestly, Power Rangers is great. Not to get too far off of the anime topic,
Yeah,
but the last season, which was uh I can't think of, Ninja Steel is what it was called.
yeah.
Um I was like my mind was blown, right? Because they had this one episode where in the original Japanese show, they had brought back an old Toei hero to make a guest appearance
Yeah.
because he was like a ninja type. What was his show name?
Oh,
I can't think of the show's name, but the character's name is Jiraiya, right?
yeah.
And so we never got Jiraiya's show in the US as like anything. We didn't get it as any sort of Beetleborgs or nothing, right?
Oh
So
God,
people were like,
Beetleborgs.
yeah, right. So everybody was like, they're not going to adapt it for Power Rangers. And then they totally did. Like he
Oh
was
yeah.
in the, like they obviously didn't call him Jiraiya, right? Because nobody would know what they were talking about. But they gave him like a new character name. It was pretty cool, actually.
I'm surprised how big the Power Ranger fan base still is, considering how long it's been going on.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's one of those things where they're just because I think it's part of it is because they're able to do so many things with the idea of Power Rangers.
Yeah, so many
They don't just
adaptations to it, pretty much.
yeah, exactly. And on the other hand, right, as long as Super Sentai is still going, I feel like they're gonna keep making Power Ranger seasons, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Um anime, right?
Yeah, we got way off topic there for a second.
Yeah. Um so yeah, 3 was one of the precure seasons.
Yeah.
4, I'm probably it's a bit of a toss up, but one of the recent shows I watched, which was Kaguya-sama Love is War, which aired. This was last winter that it aired.
Okay.
It was really good. Did you ever hear anything about that
I,
show?
I, it, once again, the title sounds familiar, but that's about it.
So in Kaguya-sama, it takes place in this. It's one of those school anime, but it's about these 4 kids who are in the student council, and this school is really interesting because all the kids are like it's like a really rich preppy school, right? Like
Yeah.
you either have to be really rich or like have really good grades. So on one hand, you have
Kind of like uh, kind of like the premise of the school in Anime Host Club, right?
yeah, it's actually a lot like that.
Okay.
So in this school, you have this one character, Kaguya, right? Kaguya is she's really smart, right? But she's like born into a really rich family. She's got like maids and all this stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
So she is the vice president of the student council. And then on the other hand, you have Miyuki Shirogane, and he is super poor, right? He's like destitute. But he was able to get into the school by having really good grades.
Yeah.
So these two characters are in love with each other, right? But they have such big egos, right? That they won't confess to each other.
What are you
And
talking
so
about? Anime characters having big egos? That never happens.
no, never, right? Anime characters are just the humblest protagonists you will ever see, right? So the whole premise of the show, right, is you have this really smart character Kaguya. She doesn't want to confess to Miyuki. You have this very smart character Miyuki. He doesn't want to confess to Kaguya.
Yeah.
So every episode, right? Well, not every episode because there is like a plot that happens, but the main uh I can't think of the word. The main way the show brings you in is every episode there's like one of them has like a plot to get the other to like confess to them or ask them to the
So wait,
movies or something.
they both know that the other one has feelings for the other? Or
No, they don't know. They
Oh,
don't know
okay.
that the other has feelings for them, but they want to get the other person to confess, right?
Okay.
So it's how a lot of people how it was explained to me, right, is that it's Death Note, but it's a rom com. That's how it's explained to me, and it's a pretty accurate representation. Um, I am caught up on the manga actually. There's a second season coming in April for that show as well, and I am beyond excited because one of the best arcs from the manga is going to be adapted, and I know it's going to be really, really good. So yes, that is absolutely one of my favorites recently, and that's
Yeah.
more modern one. My fifth favorite show, and this is it's kind of the one. It's I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite of the series. Actually, you know what? I'll just give my favorite straight up. It is a old show called it's called Go Sarer. So like Sar as in dinosaur. It's Sarer.
Yeah.
I can't think of the whole title of it. It's an old another robot show from the 80s. This show I'm a little mad about because I whoever was making like deciding what anime to bring to the states in the 90s, they really messed me over, right? Because I would have loved this show as a kid so much. The premise of Gosar is there's it's a whole class, right? Because mostly in robot shows it's like the one pilot and then their sub guys, right?
Yeah.
In Gosar, it's an entire class of kids. Their school transforms into into giant dinosaur robots that combine into a giant robot, and they all control it together.
An entire class.
An entire class of like 20 characters
How the
controlling the
fuck
robot.
does that work?
So how it works is, so there's the three main robots, right?
Yeah.
And it each has one main pilot, but like the what do you call it? The control room type thing, each is in each robot. So the other characters are in there like giving diagnostics, and like when they do the the fusion for the final robot, all
Yeah.
of the characters are in the control unit characters are the ones who control the fusion, right?
Okay.
And it's really, it's not even like the greatest show of all time, right? It doesn't have the best animation or the best music.
Yeah.
The characters are really fun, but like just the prep, like it's one of my favorites just because of how fun the premise is to me. Like I'm really really big into like strong ensemble cast, right? I don't really like it when it's just the one character, or I mean, it's fine when it's just the one character, the handful of characters, but if a show has like an ensemble cast and it pulls it off really well, then that's like, yes,
Oh yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
want. So yeah, I'd say that's my top five pretty much.
My top 5 at the moment, um, is, well, most of them are a lot of newer anime. Then there's gonna be one old one. I already have like my top of all top animes in mind. But to go down the list, and I gotta credit my little brother for this because he's really having the anime too. So he's got me hooked on a good portion of this top 5.
Yeah.
I'm also going to apologize ahead of time, to especially the people watching this, because I'm going to butcher the fuck out of some of these names. But the first one is, oh god, this is going to be bad. Is Arfrueta, I think it's called. It's an anime about this silver-haired kid who pretty much got betrayed by. I won't give away spoilers for people that haven't watched the anime yet. But he pretty much got betrayed by one of his classmates after him and his entire class got transported to this other world by a heavenly figure. Well, his whole premise after being betrayed by one of his classmates is just to get out of there. Because at that point, after he survives this long fall into what's called a labyrinth, he pretty much is just, you know, I don't give two fucks about anyone else at this point. I just want to get out of this world and back to my own world. And trust me, it's only still on it's just, they ended the first season not too long ago. For anyone that's in those action animes where like the main character is seriously fucking overpowered, watch it. It is really good. It is a bit on the itchy side at times, but it is a really good anime, and it really has a really good fucking story. So that's number 1. Number 2 is which they already confirmed that towards, I think it's the end of this year, the second season is supposed to come out. Thank God. But the second anime is another newer one. The first season just ended not too long ago. It's called Overlord. Have you heard of that one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Those of you that don't know what Overlord is I don't want to say almost, it's kind of like Sword Art Online, almost, because it starts as this, you know, normal everyday character who spends a lot of fucking time on an MMO game. And unfortunately, to much of his dismay, the MMO game is about to shut down for good. Now, him and his friends that he used to play this MMO game with spent a lot of time building a lot of stuff throughout the MMO's since it's been up. Yeah. Unfortunately, towards the end, he's the only one left. Most of the other people he used to play with are already gone. So, as the game shuts down, he decides to stay till the very end just to admire what him and his friends have made during this game's lifespan. But unfortunately, when the game shuts down, and he realizes that he's still in the game for some reason. The whole premise is now he's this overpowered, once again, overpowered main character. He's this overpowered demigod, pretty much, in a world that he has no idea how he got here. All his, everything he had in the game is with him, transported to this world, and his whole premise is to figure out what the fuck's going on. I probably didn't do the best explaining the anime, but please, for anyone who's into action-based anime, with, comedy thrown in at certain points, and is a fan of overpowered main characters, once again, watch it. It's really good. My third anime would probably have to be, I'm probably sure you know this one, is Trigun.
Heck yes!
I love Trigun. Now, for those people that don't know me personally, I with my anime, I'm very, very fucking picky when it comes to action-based anime. Because I've watched a few, and none of them just hit home with me, because either the story, sometimes even the voice acting, it's very hit or miss with me. But Trigun is one of the main ones that I will watch any fucking time I have a chance to, because it is good. At times, it catches you in the feels, especially, once again, I don't want to give spoilers away for people who haven't watched it.
Yeah, definitely.
But you probably know what I'm talking about. At certain times when certain people die, it hits you in the feels, but it's really fucking good. It's a bit of the older anime art style, which I have no problem with, but it's really fucking good. Fourth would probably have to be, God, I have to think about this one. It probably have to be it's a more, God, the full name's escaping me, but it's not a newer one, but it's still newish. Is it? You might know what I'm talking about. Once I explain this, it's about it's about a group. You see a lot of people in conventions wearing her blanket that she wears. It looks like a hamster, what she wears over her head.
Oh yeah, let me think of the name.
You know the anime I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I forget the fucking name now.
Umaru-chan.
Yes,
Umaru-chan, right?
That anime, yes.
Yes.
I'm a fan. I'm a very big fan. One of my main go-to animes is slice of life comedy animes.
Yeah.
And that anime, in every sense of the word, fits the fucking bill. And it's just the writing and the comedy throughout the anime so far, which they've already confirmed they're working on another season. There's two seasons out at the moment.
I didn't even realize there was a second season.
Yeah,
actually.
there's 2 seasons.
Okay.
The other one just the second season just ended the end of last year.
Okay.
And they confirmed they're working on a third. But it's really fucking good, especially if you're into the comedy type of anime. It does get a little serious at times, not very often, but it does.
Yeah.
It's mainly just filled with, comedy, and just it's really fucking good. So if you're in the slice, especially for those that are into slice of life type animes, it's really good.
Yeah.
And number 5, my go-to of all go-tos, and actually the anime that got me into anime to begin with. I'm sure every anime lover out there has at least that one anime that's got them into anime.
Right.
Is A Yoriyashi. I don't know if you've heard of
it. I don't think so. You'll have to explain it to me, maybe I'll.
It's a really good older anime. It was released back in the late 90s. It was the premise of the whole anime is you have these 2 families, the Sakurabas and the Hanabishis, who are very much into the older traditions of Japan, and especially on how their families and their businesses, and how their bloodline marries down the line, like very old school, traditional in their beliefs. And then you have the main character, who is Karu Hanabishi and the other main character, Aoi Sakuraba. Now, Aoi Sakuraba and Karu, Aoi and Karu were pretty much the two families, one of the two in the anime, anyways. Two biggest families in Japan, and two of the biggest families that that own major businesses in Japan agreed to have them marry each other.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Karu, his family, or his grandfather, the one who raised him, because pretty much his mother married out of wedlock because they didn't approve of his mother in the first place, because his father wanted to marry. They wanted his father to marry someone else, but he didn't want to marry. He didn't want to marry them. He wanted to marry Karu's mother. And they would never approve, so they pretty much married out of wedlock for the most part, because the family didn't give them permission. But after the Karu's father died, and only the mother to take care of him, pretty much the rest of the Hanabishi clan promised to take them in. Eventually, his mother died, unfortunately, and so it just left his very strict and very jerk-off grandfather to take care of him.
Yeah.
And the rest of the clan and business as well. And pretty much, it's borderline abuse what they put him through. So he leaves, and pretty much ever since they were first promised to wed each other, they are throughout the years especially when they were kids, Karu and Aoi saw each other very often. And even at a young age, Aoi started developing feelings for Karu. But after Karu left, like literally dipped up and left, because he didn't want any part of it at this point, he just straight up left. Aoi, pretty much without her own parents' permission, left her house to find him and find out why he left. And the story continues from there. I'm not going to give it all away, obviously.
Okay.
But it is one of, like I said, my main go-to is slice of life comedy animes, but it does have some comedy thrown into it every so often. I will say this: the manga, even though the anime is good, the manga is better than the anime because it covers a lot more. And unfortunately, they never caught up the anime to the manga before the anime was canceled. Unfortunately.
It happens.
It's really good. It's one of the few more serious slice of life animes that I love. And like I said, this is my go-to of all go-tos, because this was the anime that got me into looking at other anime.
Right.
And like I've watched like other anime before. Obviously, what kid doesn't grow up watching Dragon Ball Z?
Of course.
And all that, and even I've watched off and on Lupin the Third, if you've heard of him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Lupin the Third. I've even watched some of that, because it used to be Lupin the Third back in the day used to be on Adult Swim all the time, so I'd watch that. And then of course Dragon Ball Z would every once in a while play on Toonami and stuff like that. So I've watched quote unquote anime before, but the thing that got me into anime, my go-to, was that anime. And so that anime especially will always hold a special place in my heart. But I love that anime. That is my number one of all time. But yeah, that's my top 5.
You want to know, funny enough, what the anime was that got me like super seriously into anime?
Yeah. What was it?
It was Sonic X.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious, dude. Sonic X.
Have you seen the new Sonic movie yet?
I have not watched it yet.
I heard it's good.
I also heard it's good. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Not like, oh, this movie is amazing good. Like, it's cheesy good.
Okay, no, see, yeah, now that I believe. That I totally believe. Absolutely.
And of course, surprise, surprise, the one that makes the movie what it is of course Jim Carrey playing as Dr. Robotnik. Everyone I talked to that said that's watched the movie, they said he pulls the part off so fucking well.
I'm not surprised when the original trailer came out and everyone was like, "Oh, Sonic the Sign's terrible."
Well,
I was like,
he did look terrible though. Let's give
he
that.
did. No,
He
yeah,
looked bad.
he didn't look good. But what I said was, well, I'll still go see it anyway because Jim Carrey is Dr. Eggman, and I can't
Yeah.
pass that up. And now Sonic looks good, so now I
Yeah.
have two
Go
reasons to go
figure.
see it.
Go figure. One of the few movie companies that actually listened to the fans when they opened up.
That was surprising, actually. Like, because here's the thing. I don't have to tell you this. Generally, when that sort of thing happens, when a trailer comes out and people are like, and no. What usually happens is the studio will just double down.
Yeah, they don't.
You know?
That's just one thing I don't understand. By the way, is like you're making, especially when it's especially the movie's directed from a video game or something else that has a lot of popularity. If you have the fans pissed off because of the way the movie is looking, and that's the people you're directing this movie to, why the fuck wouldn't you listen to them?
Right. And see, it's because, and I'm pretty sure I know the reason.
Especially when the movie's directed to them.
Right. You think, right? But I feel like directors have this idea, or studios, not directors specifically, studios in general have this idea in their mind that all press is good press. So they see the fans getting riled up and they're like, that's press.
But what they don't realize,
name
out there.
Yeah, but what they don't realize is that we actually won't go see the movie if we are really that upset. Like,
no.
Of course, sometimes it happens where people are upset and then they go see the movie anyway. Like, that happens for sure. But especially with video game adaptation movies or, like, especially, like, nostalgic properties, right?
Yeah.
Like, think Ghostbusters, think, what was that movie that came out? I don't know if
By
this
the
is
way,
even...
I will say this. Speaking of Ghostbusters, I watched the one that after they rebooted it with the 4 women. I watched it when it came out on DVD, but no disrespect to them.
Yeah.
The people who played the women who played the parts, but I watched it when it came out on DVD. I had no interest in seeing it in theaters. And this, and this new Ghostbusters. Have you seen the trailer for that one?
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
I have no interest in seeing it.
Really?
Fucking all.
That's really funny. That's actually. I mean, I get it because here's the thing.
Because I heard some of the OG cast is supposed to be making an appearance, but I can't, dude. Just from what I've seen of the trailers, these kids trying to be the new Ghostbusters. I fucking can't.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm probably not gonna go see it anyway because I'm personally not like I know this is huge heresy, but I'm not like a super big Ghostbusters fan.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the original, right? I liked it. It was a good movie, but like it just didn't grab me in like, how other movies did. So I probably won't go see it, but
Well, to be honest, I'm the same way. I'm not that big of a Ghostbusters fan. It's just it's just that I've seen way too. For those of you that don't know, I just turned 34 recently. For those of you, but throughout my life, I've seen many movie adaptations over the years where they introduce these brand new characters as kids, and they take over these older characters' positions. And I've seen that so many fucking times that I just I cannot see this again.
Yeah, right.
It's like they're trying to like that they've used that concept on so many movies that I've seen over the years. I can't.
Yeah. See, what they got to start doing, right? Instead of kids, they actually need to start getting casts that are older than the original casts and have them take over. See, flip the script on them. No. But yeah.
It was annoying to me because it's a movie idea that they just keep on using over and over and over again. Hey, let's get these younger people to replace these older people from an era before, and it's just something they've used in movies so much. That's the reason why I won't see it. It's just because it's a movie idea that they've used way too many times.
I understand that. That actually does make sense. But yeah.
All right, we discussed top 5 anime and dived into depth with some of them on why we love them. I got another question for you now. If there was any anime that you would like to see, and this could be an anime that hasn't been on for years.
Okay.
It could be new or old. If there was ever an anime that you would love to see return and make another season, what would it be and why?
So for let's see, it's 2020 now, right?
Yeah.
So for 6 years, my answer, just straight off the top of my head, would have been Log Horizon, right?
Yeah.
Log Horizon came out in 2014. Actually, I probably should have put Log Horizon as one of my top 5, but it's top 10 easily.
Yeah.
Really good show. For anyone who hasn't seen Log Horizon, it's a lot like how Adam was describing Overlord, where it's characters, it's one of those stuck in a game world type of shows. The difference between Log Horizon and Overlord is that Log Horizon is a lot more, well, not, I don't know. Log Horizon and Overlord are kind of like two halves of the same, or two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah.
Where the main difference between Overlord and Log Horizon is that Log Horizon is a bunch of people stuck in a game world trying to figure out how to operate, and Overlord is just one guy. Because
as far as we know, so far it's only one guy.
As far as we know, as far as what exists in the narrative.
Have you watched Overlord?
I watched the first season. Okay. Yeah, I watched the first season, and I've heard bits and pieces about seasons 2 and 3, but yeah, I watched the first. I liked.
They've already confirmed that they're working on. They've already confirmed that they're doing a second and third season, but they unfortunately haven't been released yet.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me, but no, I watched Overlord. I liked it. And see, the main reason I liked Overlord, Log Horizon more than Overlord is that ensemble cast, man. They got that ensemble cast.
One of the main things I like about, sorry to cut you off, but one of the main things I've liked about Overlord is there's a few anime, but not as many as there is of the opposite. But the Overlord, pretty much, one of the things I like about it, all except for the good storyline that it obviously has, and some of the comedy bits it has thrown into a more serious type anime, is it's based around instead of the main character being all good and all for justice and all that, this guy's more on, like, you see him caring every so often, but he's more on the evil side, and I like that. For once you have an anime where the main character is more evil than actually good.
Yeah, it's funny that we don't actually have a lot of anime that are like with like true anti-heroes or like
that's one reason why I like those, because he is like at least at the moment more on the evil side than anything. Like, he does not give a fuck about who he kills.
Yeah, exactly.
The only people he cares about is the people in Nazarick, and that's it. And
he cares about his NPCs.
Yeah,
but
and
other than that, everybody else is fodder to be slaughtered, you know.
Pretty much.
But
one spell over 100,000 deaths.
Yeah, actually, you know, I've rewatched the fight between Ainz and Shaltir probably like a million times.
Oh, that fighting sequence was amazing.
It was so cool. Now I will say this. That scene also made me think, yeah, I would never play this game in real life. This game is busted. I could not. I would just be getting, because I'd be getting one-shotted in the fields everywhere. Like, I can't even do PvP in Final Fantasy 14.
Okay, while we're on the subject of their fight, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Right as Ainz was about to defeat her, and right as he's about to defeat her, you remember that part in the fighting scene where she was about to start to attack him again, and that eye or whatever it is appears behind her? You remember that?
I do remember that.
What is that? Or what was that?
I'm trying to remember, because I actually read a comment about that, and I was like, oh, okay. I can't remember who they said, but someone had done some sort of spell and it distracted her, and that's what happened. But I'm not
I didn't know if that was like Ainz trying to distract her, if he did that, or if like it was whoever was controlling her at the time did that for whatever reason. Like I did not understand what that was.
I'm pretty sure someone said it was remember when Ein set the not I think it was Momonga they said it was that had threw a spell or something. I don't remember, but it wasn't Ainz who had distracted her. It was somebody else. But it wasn't. It also wasn't the person who was controlling her, which we still don't know who that was. But yeah, I don't ask me, man. I didn't read the light novels. I have no idea.
Well, I didn't read the novel either. I've just been watching the anime.
Yeah.
So I had no idea who I was just because that's been bugging me for a while. Like anytime I watch it and I see that scene, I was like, I don't know who that is or what that is or why it happened. I was like, that part had me confused.
Yeah, that is like a kind of like little like, whoa, what's that about? But yeah,
But sorry, you were saying.
Oh yeah, Log Horizon. Yeah, so in 2014, no, actually, it's only been 5 years that I've been wanting a new season because in 2015 it got a second season. But what happened was the guy who was writing the novels of Log Horizon, he got in trouble with the government for tax evasion.
Oh, that's nice.
So they stopped writing he stopped writing his books for a while. And when that news came out, everyone was like, yeah, it's done. We're never getting another season ever again. But he started up the novels again, I think 2 years ago. And so there was like a little bit of like, well, it's probably not going to happen, but maybe.
But maybe, and then, fingers crossed.
Right, like not even fingers crossed, because your fingers are going to start cramping after a while, so you just kind of give up, right?
Yeah.
But literally, I remember the day like it was yesterday, even though it was like 3 months ago. I was on Twitter, and someone just retweeted onto my timeline the NHK TV station Twitter account was like, oh, by the way, new season of Log Horizon coming later this year. Just no video, just a random picture of the show, and just season 3 confirmed. And it was like, I'm not questioning it, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, who, why, how. No, I'm just accepting it. Log Horizon is getting a 3rd season, and my mind is blown. Like, at this point, anything could happen. You know what? No Game, No Life season 3. Make it happen. Season 2, actually, because there isn't a season 3. No Game, No Life season 2. Make it happen. It can. At this point, dude, this man went to jail for tax evasion, and we still got a 3rd season. Anything is possible. No Game, No Life. So yeah, I'm gonna say No Game, No Life because that's You know what? Haruhi season 3. Make it happen. Haruhi season 3. That's what we want. That's what we really want. I have given up hope, but you know what? Log Horizon came back.
Yeah.
Haruhi season 3. That's what I want, man. What about you?
Me would have to be. I would love for them to continue. Like I said, this anime was in the 90s, so I doubt it's ever gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
I would love for them to at least catch up with the novels of Ayoriyashi and continue on with another season of the anime. But that's never gonna fucking happen.
Hey, don't say that, man. Don't say that.
All I want is for them just to catch up. I'm not saying that they have to go past the manga and do their own thing. Even though I'd fucking love if they did that. But all I want is them to catch up with the manga. That's all I fucking want. Because especially, once again, not going to give it away what happens in the manga. Spoilers. But for those who prefer, especially for those who prefer the manga over the manga over anime, the manga of Ayoriyashi is really fucking good. I would love just for them to at least catch up with the manga, because towards the end of the manga, it's really fucking good.
No, I feel that for sure. Definitely. Like, and that's a problem with, I guess, actually, you know what? Now that you've said that, I think my real, like, continuation, or really, okay, so, a little background.
Serious bedhead.
I feel that. I did not break out the brush before I did
right before we started recording this, I just woke up from a nap, so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Man, I've been up today. I had to go to the post office, pick up some, anyway. not to get too far into that, but there's an old manga called Getter Robo. It's kind of famous among robot fans because it's the first manga to have a combining robot.
Yeah.
Um, it has never ever had a complete adaptation to anime. We had um new I think it was Neo Robo versus Shin Robo, which was an OVA. There's been like okay, so Toei made a TV series in the 70s, but that was I don't do you know Devilman, right?
Yeah.
So Devilman had a similar thing where when Toei made their first anime adaptation, they kind of just did their own thing. Like they didn't really adapt the manga. They kind of just were like, okay, we're gonna take this character and make like a Monster of the Week type show. They did that with Getter Robo too. But and then actually the exact same thing happened with Devilman where they had OVAs later, but it never did the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And now we have, we have Devilman Crybabe, which has adapted the entire manga. Of course, it's not a direct adaptation because it changes things, but it's the whole story. Getter Robo has never had that, and I think it's desperately needed at this point because it's really good, man. It's
Yeah.
really good, and also, not to throw shade at anybody, but like, Gurren Lagann, right?
Yeah.
So everybody loves Gurren Lagann, right? And I'm like, get into if you like Gurren Lagann, you will really, really like Getter Robo because, of course, Gurren Lagann, takes all of the whole show is basically just a love letter to the entire robot anime genre, whether it's real or super. But its main, I'd say three like things that it takes inspiration from are Gunbuster, um, Getter Robo, and probably like Gundam. But well, maybe Gundam. Yeah. But no, Getter Robo is really, really good. But it's hard to get people into Getter Robo because so many people will just not read manga, right? They'll be like, I'll watch the anime, but I won't read the manga. And it's like there's no like complete like if I want to tell people, hey, get into Devilman, there's Devilman Crybaby. It's the whole story, it's complete.
Yeah.
It's not it's not an exact translation or adaptation, but it's there for people to get into. Getter Robo doesn't have that, and it needs it so much. So that's what I want, man. Yeah, Getter Robo for sure.
All right. Another question for you.
Okay.
If you couldn't have a new season of it continue, what anime for you personally would you prefer that if you couldn't get more of it, would you rather than not seeing it continue at all, would you prefer a complete reboot of? Like either pretty much it comes down to they give you the option that would be like, hey, listen, we can't continue a new series of this anime, but we can give you a reboot. What anime would you prefer that you personally would have a reboot of?
What anime would I have a reboot of?
If you had a choice, if like they could, if you can't get a new season of it, would you prefer to? Would you at least like to see get a reboot of?
Okay. You know what? That's really hard because it's like, would I rather have no more of it or more of it, but it's not exactly the same? Actually, you know what? Gosh, that's a really tough question, right? Because it's like my go-to would be like, okay,
I have written down some of the questions I wanted to ask you dealing with anime, and when I wrote this one down, I was like, I bet you, I said to myself, I bet you 10-1, me and him are both gonna have a hard time answering this question.
Yeah, it's like a really hard one because it's
either you don't get anything new from this anime, or it's a complete fucking reboot. So you get more of it, but it's still not the same.
Right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen this OVA. It's called Giant Robo, the animation.
The name sounds
Um,
familiar.
See, you're a little bit older than me, so you might have seen the original TV. Actually, you know what? I don't think would have been in your childhood because your childhood was like Power Rangers era. But there was an old show called Johnny Soko and His Flying Robot, where it was like a Power Rangers type show with the giant robot sort of thing.
Okay.
It's a pretty good series. The OVA is really really good though. It's actually complete, right? Like they did the whole story more or less, and they already did. Oh, you know what? Pat Labor. That's if I would be fine as long as it's as good as the original, right? As long as they keep
Yeah.
the tone and like make it as fun. Um, I could stomach a reboot of Pat Labor. I think
Yeah.
maybe. But what about you though?
Me, it would have to be. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this anime. GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka.
Okay, okay,
I love
yeah,
I love the anime. I did. It's if you ever want to watch an anime that has that pretty much is serious and goofy at the same time,
yeah.
that's the fucking anime.
That is GTO. Like, there's no other. It's just
Like
GTO.
it's serious, but it's goofy at the same time, and there's very few anime that are able to pull that off.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I could get a reboot of that, that'd be great. And for those of you that do not know what GTO is a anime based around a substitute teacher who used to be in a biker gang, and he's all about trying to help out these pretty much students that literally no other teacher wants to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fucking good. This is one of the few anime that I'll say the anime is as good as the manga, and I cannot say
agree.
that about a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've read the manga and I've watched the full anime both. But if I could get a reboot of that just so I could get more GTO and they at least stick with the same kind of way they did the OG, like you said with yours, I'd be happy.
Okay, you know what? I actually feel that. Like, if they rebooted GTO, I'd be like, okay, because that would be like a really random one. Like, if next season they announce that they're rebooting GTO, I'll be like, okay, but I'll watch it for sure.
It's like you said, if they stick to how the original anime was, with how serious yet goofy it was, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, exactly. I that makes sense. Totally.
All right. Last question before we end it here.
Alrighty.
Is there any? Because believe it or not, we've already been recording for over an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, time flew by.
Yeah, seriously.
Is there or has there been any anime where you have not watched it all the way through on purpose for whatever reason?
As in, like dropped, or
like you stopped watching it because it could be for any reason. Example, because you saw something that was about to happen in the anime that you did not want to see, like your favorite character dying or something messed up in the storyline. Like, so you found out something was, and this is just an example of a reason, but like, say you found out something was about to happen in the anime that would mess you up emotionally, or whatever, that made you just stop watching the anime. Has there ever been an anime like that you've dropped for whatever reason?
Yeah, I've actually I haven't dropped that many anime, funny enough. I've watched a lot of anime all the way through.
And I'm talking about like dropped on purpose.
Dropped on purpose, yeah. Not like just, I was watching it and then I forgot that it was airing or whatever. There have been there's two shows that stick out in my mind that I've dropped. And both of them are like, really like a personal, well, one of them is not like crazy, right? But one of his like is a personal issue, right?
Yeah.
So the first one, and I've told you about this one before, but My Hero Academia. I dropped. I gotta put this. I gotta premise this because there's gonna be people watching this who have
Oh,
not
there is a
heard me talk about
lot of
this.
My Hero Academia fans out there, dude. So
Yeah, exactly. And they haven't heard me say this, so let me preface it as this. My Hero Academia is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a bad show. It is a really, really good, solid show.
yeah,
Music, like, here's the thing. If I really, really cared, I could watch the show just for the music alone. I love Yuki Hayashi's work. It's
Oh, yeah.
wonderful. He was in he did Gundam Build Fighters, he did Haikyuu, he did a few seasons of Precure. He's amazing. I love
Yeah.
the guy. He did the last One Piece movie that came out. Fantastic. Fire, okay? Animation, amazing. Character arcs, great. It's a good show.
but
I dropped the show because when I started watching My Hero Academia, it was specifically because of the premise of, and I started watching like, you got to realize I'm, I guess by most anime fan standards, I'm an OG for the series, right? Like I started watching the anime episode 1 when it was airing, like a billion years ago or however long that was.
yeah,
I started watching this and I was like, okay, we have this character who's in a world of superheroes. He doesn't have a superpower. This is really interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes.
and then we
Next
find out he
episode,
has one.
yeah, like 2 episodes later, he gets a superpower, and I'm like, okay,
Well,
but
I'll say this,
Oh.
it especially towards the beginning of the anime, because I've watched some of it, is it's at least with his superpower though, if he does use it, it fucks him up.
see, and that was what kept me going for a while. Is he has the superpower, but it's like a huge Achilles heel. Like he has to be super careful with it.
Yeah,
And there's not a lot of just media in general, right? Where you have a character with like he's super OP, right? But there's a catch, right? It's like one
Yeah.
of those,
like a literally debilitating catch.
right? Like the first time he uses it, he breaks his whole body and is like falling to his death. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like they do Horikoshi does a lot of really interesting stuff with this whole he can only use this ability like basically once and then he's screwed. And as he's learning how to use it the best,
Yeah.
I really like that. All the way up to the Nomu fight, great stuff. Actually, no, past the Nomu fight, all the way up to the Stain arc. Really, really enjoyed it. Once we got to Stain and he learns Cowling, right? That's when I started to fall off. It was still good. It's not like post Stain is like bad or anything again, but
Yeah.
that's where my personal interest started to wane. And I was like, we're starting to get, because here's the thing, right? I watched all of Naruto, okay? I watched
That's a
all
lot
of
of Naruto.
600, 700 episodes, man. I
I've
watched all
yet
of
to watch the new ones where it's his son.
Boruto.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
I've heard from some OG Naruto fans that it's not great, but it's all right.
Yeah.
But I have no interest, man. Like I was
See-
invested with Naruto,
Same.
especially when a lot of the later story arcs involving him and his now wife
Mhm.
Hinata. Like I loved the story arcs, especially when it involved them two especially. But I have no interest in watching.
Me neither. See, because here's the thing. I watched all of the anime. I read all of the manga. I have played literally, this is not an exaggeration. I have played every single Naruto video game that has come out since chapter 1, between chapter 1 and like the last episode of the anime.
Yeah,
I have played I played the Wonder Swan games, okay? Like I dug in deep. I was deep in the Naruto hole, okay? I can't do that again. And that's kind of it's because, and the same way I feel about Boruto, I feel about Hiraka now. Now that we're past this sort of like, okay, my really specific interest in the show is kind of gone. I can't do the 700 episode shonen powerhouse. I can't do it again. It's not gonna happen.
Especially when the focus is shifted from a character that you've liked seeing grow in previous, and he's not the main focus anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, Deku's, a lot of people like Deku, right? I think Deku's a fine character.
Yeah.
He's not like my favorite character ever, right? Because I feel like the way he's written, and now I feel like getting a little too much into like criticizing Hero Academia, but Deku, I understand why Deku was written the way he is.
Yeah.
As far as the story goes, but his characterization is almost like too pathetic. Like, you know what I mean?
Like they pretty much hammered the underdog card on him too hard.
Yeah, he's like too much of an underdog for his situation.
Yeah.
Right? Because like they have, and part of the problem is also how Bakugo ended up being long term. Because Bakugo's character, right? Because people say, you hear it all the time, Green Naruto and Blonde Sasuke, right? It's not, it's weird, right? Because they do kind of like a reverse thing. It's almost like Bakugo has like a rewrite, half like just at a random. It's hard to figure out exactly where, but he has like a rewrite of his character somewhere in his like first introduction. Because at first he's like beating up Deku or whatever, like bullying him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna be the #1 hero. And then he never does anything like that again for the whole rest of the series. So it's like, was he just having like a moment that day where he wanted to I just feel like beating up Deku today. And it's like, he never does anything like that again. And so there's like a weird character inconsistency where Bakugo
just automatically has a shifting character, and that's it, pretty much.
Right, and that wouldn't be so much of a problem, but then Deku doesn't have that, because Deku being like super pathetic makes sense in the context of all these other people are bullying him constantly. And like the doctor was like, you could never be a hero and whatever. And like all that together makes sense. But once you have, especially I feel once you have Bakugo not just being kind of like, yeah, he's like kind of like a musclehead or whatever, and he's really angry all the time, but he's never like, I don't know, he's kind of kept in check for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So Deku, and I don't know, you could write it up to, of course he's not going to change overnight, but Bakugo did, and Deku didn't. And so it's like, dude, come on now. Come on, pull it together. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't hate Deku as a character at all. He's a perfectly, narratively he works, so I can't complain too much, but it's kind of like a personal thing.
Yeah.
But the other one I'd say, and this one, see, Hero Academia doesn't make me mad, right? Hero Academia is just, I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm glad people like it. This other show makes me angry, okay? It makes
that's the reason why you dropped it?
That's I dropped this show 4 episodes in, okay?
4?
You gotta realize, too, this isn't a 24-episode show. This is a yearly running 52-episode show. 4 episodes in, I said.
4 episodes in.
And in the end, I was right, too. So it was actually a Precure season, right?
Okay.
And I really, really like Precure.
Oh, yeah.
Last season, Star Twinkle Precure, 4 episodes in, I said, this is not going to be good. I'm just cutting my losses now. And there were, okay, so it's a lot, right? Like, if I drop this 4 episodes in, you might be like, oh, well, it's just one thing. No, there was a ton that I didn't like. There was okay. So production-wise, it was a mess. Production-wise, Star Twinkle Precure, especially coming off of the season before Hugtail Precure. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
No.
That season, production-wise, is like it's insane. Like it's funny because episode 4 of Hugtail Precure, people were saying, I still think it was one of the best produced episodes of anime of all of 20 it was 18 at the time, all of 2018. That episode was phenomenal. Like it did not get any better. That music wise, animation wise, voice acting wise, writing, it was I think one of the most perfect episodes of anime I'd ever seen. Right?
Yeah.
The whole season wasn't like that, but it was so good. Right? Star Twinkle Precure starts off right, and there's this thing with Precure. The first episode, they always go ham, right? Because it's like, hey, look, we got a new cast, we got new characters, we're gonna throw all this crazy animation at you. You're gonna love this. Stick around. I always go back to the very, very first Precure season of Tadiwa Precure, 2004. The first episode, when after their transformation and that first fight, there's this song that kicks in. That's the title of it is Precure Has Appeared. And when you hear that song for the first time, you go, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And every season up until Star Twinkle had that, where they had this song that played and you knew it was gonna be action.
Yeah.
And they had the money shot. They had that choreographies going on.
Oh yeah.
Star Twinkle Precure did not have that, unfortunately. The animation was just not great. The music, I almost said Horikoshi. That's not his name. Yuki Ayashi, the guy who I was just talking. I love his music, right?
Yeah.
His soundtrack for Star Twinkle is like the one, right? Because I've listened to almost everything he's done. He did Robotics Notes. That's when I first heard him. I'm like, this guy's amazing. Star Twinkle Precure is the one soundtrack of his that I'm just like, it's not, I think it's his weakest work.
It just didn't do it for you, pretty much.
Yeah, it really didn't. It didn't punch the way his soundtracks normally punch, you know? And the voice acting. Okay.
Are you talking about the Japanese voice acting or
the Japanese voice acting? And see, here's the thing, right? I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak a lick of Japanese.
Yeah.
I can say konnichiwa, and that's about as good as it gets. So when I get to the
I
point,
want to go to Japan so bad.
Me too. But I gotta learn some stuff before I go. But there's certain voice actors, right? When you hear them in Japanese, and you're like, you can tell that this is the good stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Generally, if it's a language you don't know, unless it's really, really, really bad, it's kind of like, this sounds fine, right? Or if it's really, really good, you're like, this is the good stuff. Star Twinkle Precure's main lead falls on the bad side of that spectrum. The main character is voiced by, I don't know, do you follow like idol stuff like at all?
Somewhat,
Like,
yes. Yeah. Somewhat, yeah.
do you know the group Dempagumi Inc.?
Not as fully as some of our mutual friends do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I do somewhat, yeah.
So there's this group called Dempagumi Inc. They're an idol group, right? I actually knew who they were before one of their girls voiced the main character of Star Twinkle Precure. And you know, I never was like, oh, I hate this idol, wow, right? Like I always thought she had a good singing voice. She was fun in all the interviews and stuff. Oh, it's rough,
Yeah,
man.
It was that bad?
It was super heckin' rough, bro. Like, cause she tries to do like the idol-y voice thing, and it clashes so hard with the rest of the and it just it's I don't like it. I can't handle it. Like she don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against this idol specifically. I like her singing voice actually. They actually sing in the show, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is that they did not give her enough voice directing, right? They were kind of like, just talk how like you normally talk. And it just doesn't,
especially with anime, you can't do that.
and especially because she's not an actual voice actress, right? She's new, this is her first main role. So she, like, you know, if you took what's his name? I can't think of the name of, I don't know if you've ever seen Gintama, the guy who does Gintoki's voice.
Yeah,
He's like,
I know who you're talking about.
He's like super established. He could totally, like, if you were like, just talk how like you normally talk, he could pull it off.
I would say, yeah, he could pull it off.
But
you have to have a certain talent to be able to do that.
Right, the talent, the experience, and she just didn't have it. And the problem, okay, here's the thing: if it was just her, it would be like, okay, there's one person here, they don't exactly have the acting chops, and it's whatever, right?
Yeah.
There were two. There were two of them. Okay, so in magical girl shows, right, you have the little. I'm sorry, I'm going way long with this.
It's fine, dude. Go ahead.
But there, you know, in magical girl shows, they have the little stuffed animal fairy partner type thing.
Yeah.
You know, in Sailor Moon, you had Luna. In Cardcaptor Sakura, you have Keroberos, the greatest mascot character of all time. In this season of Precure, they had a character named Fua. And Precure has been doing this thing for a while. They stopped with the recent series, thankfully, but they had this thing going on for a while where they have two mascot characters, right? They have the one who's like an adult, right? Where they're like, you know, and then they have the baby, where they have like a little sound they make. They can't think, right? Because they're literally an infant. Last season, the season before that, they literally had an infant, but it worked in that, right?
Yeah.
This season, it does not work because she just constantly screams and cries and screams and cries and does nothing else for the first 4 episodes. And there's a moment, minor spoilers, there's a moment in the 3rd episode, and that was like the moment where I basically decided I was going to drop it, where the two main characters, because the character that the idol plays, she's like a Genki girl, right? She's like happy-go-lucky, like, right?
Yeah.
The second cure that they introduce is like cool, or not cool and calm, but she's like super calculated, kind of nerdy, right? It's very like, we need to stop and plan things, right? So there's like that immediate butting of heads character-wise. The 3rd episode kind of deals with this butting of heads, and it's like, how are these two characters going to get along? And there's this moment, right? There's kind of like a crescendo. It reaches a crescendo where like arguing with each other, and the main character says to the second character, she's like, "I hate you," basically. She doesn't fully say it. She's like, "I hate," but it stops, right? Now, in a competent show, they would have the main two characters fight, have them get whooped, right?
Yeah.
Then figure out, okay, we need to work together. Have them work together and win. And it's like, all right, we learned the lesson of the day. Good job, everybody, right?
Yeah. That's how it normally works anyway.
Star Twinkle Precure is not a competent show. Because how they decide to resolve this issue, and keep in mind, this isn't a case of, oh, they just stop it here and then they finish this storyline later. No, this is the end of this conflict.
Yeah.
They have the baby fairy character, right, start crying, start wailing loudly as their argument. And the decision that these characters come to is that we've got to stop arguing because we don't want to make this baby cry.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. And it works. They come together and they defeat the bad character of the week, and it's like, at that point, I was like, this is not going to be a good season.
That just seems to me like a lack of creativity on how to resolve something.
it doesn't even have to be. If it was creative, I would be happy about that. Like, because here's the thing: Precure has done this whole where two characters who are totally opposite, we got to figure out how to get along, right?
Yeah.
Because in the original Precure, there are only two Precure, and one of them is the sporty girl, and one of them the nerdy girl, and we're
Yeah.
like, how do we get along? Precure has dealt with this many times in the past. Like the duo in Precure, like usually in a lot of magical girl shows, it's either the one or like the group. Precure's main motif as far as characters is we're two opposite characters. How do we get along? They have dealt with this before, but for some reason, they just messed it up in this season. And then at that point I was like, this, because between the animation not being very good, the music not being really to my taste, the art in general, like usually when people talk about animation, they're usually saying, "Oh, I didn't like the art style," right?
Yeah.
The art style is fine for Star Twinkle, but the actual coloring of the series is really weird. Like for some reason, it's like a Saturday morning magical girl show, right? So of course it's gonna be like bright and colorful, right? But for some reason, like the color palette was like super like low key and kind of bland, actually.
Yeah.
So it just all of the parts of it were not coming together. And I told people, I got into arguments, man, because I'm super into this series. Like I'm very invested. I was like, listen, guys, because people were like, this series is great so far. And I'm like, you're gonna have to explain to me because I am not seeing it. And so after episode 4, where they introduced the last character, I said,
Fuck this, I'm
I'm
out.
done. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. And it's really funny because all of those people who are at the beginning, because here's what I said. This was the reason people got mad at me. Is I said this season is not going to be good long term because I'm seeing the seeds of a bad show this early in,
Yeah.
right? And people were like, you can't say that about the show that isn't finished yet. And I was like, no,
Some
I
shows
can.
are just predictable like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to tell them. And they were like, no. And so I was like, whatever. I was actually in a Precure Discord and I left because I was like, I can't deal with you anymore. But I feel so vindicated right now, right? Because the new season, what is even the name of it? Healing Good is pretty good actually. It's just good, right? It's
Yeah.
not great. It's
Yeah.
not the most amazing. It's good. I can watch it and have a fun time. And that's really all I need from Precure. But all of the people who told me, oh, you can't judge a show or it's finished. By episode 51, they were saying, this show was so disappointing. And I said,
Told you
told
so.
you! I felt so vindicated. Like, I was sad that the show ended up being bad, but I was like, ha, told you so. Funnily enough, actually, every season of Precure has a movie tie-in.
Yeah.
I watched the movie, and it was really good. Funnily enough, like the
So
show
the
itself
series was bad, but the movie was actually good.
it's right, and it was like, I mean, okay, because Precure movies have like a history of being like phenomenal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This one was also phenomenal, but it just happened to be tied to like a really bad season. But yeah, rant over. Those are the two shows that I have dropped.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me,
Yes,
best-
for you.
the best of my knowledge that I can at least remember, there's only one that I've ever dropped.
Oh, wow.
There's only been one. And
Okay.
this anime, you probably know. It's called Clannad.
Oh, no.
And
I already know what you're going to say.
there's a very. This is why I gave the example at the beginning of this conversation. Stuff that's fucked you up emotionally.
Yeah, now I understand.
Because Clannad, for those of you who don't know, for a lot of anime lovers, is referenced as one of the saddest animes you could ever watch, and there is a fucking reason for it.
It's not an understatement.
Like, I'm a man, and I'm willing to say that when I watch this anime, I fucking cried.
Same though.
Oh god. But,
Same.
okay. So, I dropped Clannad. Have you watched Clannad all the way through?
I've watched it all the way through.
Okay,
Yes.
then you'll know what I'm talking about. Sorry, gonna put it up here. Spoilers for those of you who haven't watched it. But I'm getting the spoilers. I dropped it right after, soon after. I'm sorry, my dog. My computer wired. I don't want to pull my power cord. I've done that before. For me, I dropped it soon after. Tomoya's daughter started getting sick. Because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I dropped it soon after she first started showing signs of getting sick. And when I say up until that point, fucked me up emotionally, because Tomoya first lost his wife, one of the people he ever gave a fuck about in his life. He lost her. It took him forever to get over that, and now he's about to lose his daughter. It fucked me up because they put the way they ran the storyline, especially between his wife dying and then now his daughter. The way they put it all together was such in a masterful yet emotional way. It'll fuck anyone up.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as she started getting sick, I'm sorry, Tomoya's daughter, off the top of my head, her name escapes me.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
It fucked me up. And when I say it fucked me up to the point where I said I have to stop watching this or I'm gonna wind up bawling again, is because it fucked me up so bad to where I had to stop it. Is I stopped watching it early in the morning. I can remember. I stopped watching it on I think it was a weekday, whatever. But for those that don't know me personally, I used to work at a restaurant called Eaton Park. And I had to go in the day I decided to stop watching it. I was like, okay, no, I'm done. I'm not watching anymore. I had to go into work that day. I went into work after deciding to finally stop watching the series. It was fucking me up so emotionally that the rest of my day, after going into work and the rest of that day, I was not happy. I was depressed. I was sad, and I was so out of my element because how bad Clannad fucked me up that even people at my work that day, even people at my work could tell something was wrong with me.
Oh my gosh!
I was just like, because people literally towards the end of my shift were coming up to me. He's like, and even one of my managers was like, Adam, I noticed you've been kind of down all day. What's wrong? I was like, I could tell them. Because could you realize what their reaction would be if I would have told them what was wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially for those that do not, trying to talk to someone who does not watch anime.
Exactly.
The reaction I would get if I told them.
They'd be like, okay, man.
So I was just like, I just told them that I'll be fine. You just don't understand, and I left it at that.
Yeah.
And that's how bad that anime fucked me up, and that's why I had to stop watching it. Now I will say this. Later on, about like a few weeks later, it got spoiled to me what happens at, you know what I'm talking about, at the very end.
Yeah.
What happens. So only after I found out what happens, I watch the rest of it.
Yeah,
only
exactly.
After I'm not going to spoil the end, please, guys. If you will cry if you watch this. I'm saying it now. You will watch. If you watch Clannad, you will cry. I don't care if you're a 50-pound, a 500-pound body lifter, muscular man in the world. If you watch this, you're gonna fucking cry.
Yeah.
If you decide to watch it, and you do not mind crying a fuck time, watch it till the end.
Yeah.
Watch it till the end. Don't be like I did and bitch out at one of the most heartbreaking points of the anime.
Yeah,
Watch it till the end.
You gotta
But
do the
I
whole thing.
dropped the anime and only decided to continue watching after I found out what happens at the end. And
Yeah.
only after I found out what happens at the end. But that was like the anime,
I feel
the
that.
one anime that I dropped because, well, you were like, I don't like the way the animation's going, and I don't like the way they're driving the storyline. For me, I dropped mine because it just fucked me up so emotionally. I could not watch it anymore.
I feel that. Okay, it's not an anime. It's funny that you mentioned Clannad for things you drop because have you ever played the original visual novel for Clannad?
Yes.
Okay, good. Have you played the spin-off, Tomoyo After, I think is what the name of it is?
Unfortunately, the one. Wait, I'm trying to remember. Is it the one where instead of falling in love with the female main character, he falls in love with the silver-haired girl?
The purple-haired girl.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
no, I didn't play that one. I played the because there were several visual novel games that came out for that anime.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the one was. I'd have to bring up Steam because it's still in my Steam library. But
Yeah.
I played the one where he falls in love with the silver-haired girl. I didn't play that one.
Okay, so in Tomoyo After, I had to stop playing that.
Probably I'm almost guessing for the same reasons why I stopped playing the one I played, the one where he falls in love with the silver-haired girl, because it gets too sad towards the end, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is because I really like Tomoyo. She's like my maybe.
See, for those who've watched Clannad, I know you might get on my case about this because I know there's a lot of people out there that like that Tomoyo got together with. God, her name escapes me now. The female main character that was
Nagisa is her name.
Yeah, Nagisa. A lot of people who I talk to who watch the anime like that those two got together. For me, I would prefer if her and the silver-haired girl, the one that was like, beats everyone up. What's her name?
You know what? Hold on. That might have actually been her. We might actually be thinking of the same one. You were right. It was the silver-haired girl.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about the same visual novel then.
Yeah, we're talking about the exact same one.
Okay, yes. I had to stop.
Yeah.
I stopped playing that one too.
Yeah. I was like, this is
because the reason why I stopped playing it is because I was I was reading I was looking through a walkthrough when I was playing it, and I found out what happens towards the end of the visual novel. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this and I'm already starting to. I was just reading what's going to happen in the walkthrough. I started getting emotional. I was like, I cannot play through this part of the game. I'm not touching this game again. I'm uninstalling it. I'm out.
Yeah, see, exact same. Because here's the thing, Nagisa dying was sad. I was attached to Nagisa. I like Nagisa, right? Tomoyo is my favorite character.
Oh yeah, like I said, for people who love Clannad, don't get mad at me. But I would prefer, me personally, I would prefer if he wound up with her instead of Nagisa.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
I would have preferred that. Because for those who've not watched Clannad, pretty much all of Tomoyo's slight spoiler for pretty much all of Tomoyo's friends who are girls in the anime at one point start liking him. Yeah,
it is a VN, so. Yeah, Tomoyo is my favorite female character. Now, my favorite male character is actually the best friend.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's actually the best character in the entire series.
Anytime he got his ass beat in the anime by Tomoyo, I laughed.
Yeah, it's here's the thing. It's a running gag and it's great and I love it. But Tomoyo is my favorite female character. You can't. No, absolutely not. I reject your canon ending and substitute my own fan ending. Okay, like you can't do that to me. Jeez, yeah. Tomoyo After was too much.
Yeah,
man.
I watched because, like I said, I was reading when I was playing it. I had a walkthrough up because I got told that there's some references to the anime itself in the game, and I wanted to make sure I don't miss them, so I had a walkthrough up. And I didn't even do it on purpose. I, by accident, glanced at what the ending was. Well, there's two possible endings. I glanced at what both endings were by accident, and I was like, if that's what this game is leading up to, and both for those that don't know, both endings are fucking sad.
Yeah,
There is no happy ending.
There's no happy ending, dude.
I was like, if that's what happens towards the end of this game, I'm just reading this up, and I'm just reading this on a walkthrough, and I'm getting emotional. I'm not gonna be able to play through this on the game itself. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not fucking playing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like now, okay, let me tell you what's annoying, right? Because I listen to a lot of like anime and visual novel songs on YouTube.
Yeah.
Every so often, the theme song for Tomoyo After will pop up in my recommendations, and I'm like, I mean, because you gotta listen to it, right? It's a banger. Like, it's a great song.
Yeah, like the music for the visual novel is good. I'm not ready to get that. I got emotional with the anime itself. I'm not ready to get emotional with the fucking game.
Right, exactly. It's every time I listen to it, it's like, this is such a banger, but I'm close to crying most of the time. Because it's like, dang it, I know what this song represents. I know.
And I know some of us who, especially for those that are watching this, that aren't at least heavily into anime, might not get what we're talking about when we say that Clannad is emotional anime. Trust me, even if you've never watched an anime before, that's actually if you've never watched an anime before that's made you cry, watch Clannad.
Yes.
If you're like, oh, I've watched several sad anime so far, I've never cried at during any of them. Watch Clannad. If you have not watched it, it will make you cry.
Yeah, Clannad is just Clannad is on another level, right? Because it doesn't start off sad, right?
No, it doesn't start off sad, but it gradually works its way to that point.
Yeah, it's like,
and I will give credit to the writers and everyone that worked on that anime. They did a masterful job at telling the story up to the end, up to the sad points, and up to the very end. They did a masterful job of it, but god damn it, it is so emotional.
And that's why it's so emotional, because everything up to it is so good. Clannad is really, really good at getting you invested and like caring about everybody. Like, because like, you know, of course there's always going to be like best girl, right? But like, it makes you care about everybody, and then it kills Nagisa, and it like, and it's bad, right? Because there's hints of it, right? Oh, Nagisa's kind of like sickly or whatever. Oh, this is now she's dead.
Like,
and it's like,
if you notice it, the anime kind of does a subtle way of hinting towards that eventually happening to when she dies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, exactly.
Even if you notice the subtle hints up until the point where it happens, it still fucking gets you, man.
Yeah, it does. Even if you already know what's going to happen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because the show is just that good at bringing you in. And it's actually not Angel Beats, but what's the other?
It's Angel Beats. I heard was pretty emotional too. I've never watched it, but I've heard from Nate and others. SuperNatetastic, for those that don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, our man.
He's watched it, and he's it's a sad thing you're not going to Tekka Dude, because he's actually going to be coming.
No, seriously.
Yeah, he's actually going to be coming. He hasn't been, for those of you that don't know, he's been on some of my past vlogs, so some of you who are watching this know who he is. But SuperNatetastic, because of work and other reasons, hasn't been to any cons recently, so he hasn't been meeting up with the rest of our con friends in a while. He's finally coming back to a con, and he's going to be at Tekka. He's coming to Tekka.
That's exciting.
He wants to start coming back to conventions now that he has more free time. So he's going to be at Tekka. That's why I was hoping you were coming.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's kind of annoying, but yeah.
I'll see if I can get him to go to Otakon.
Yes.
I'll see if I can, because you said you're going to Oda, right?
Yes. I'm 100% going.
I'll try and get him to, because I'm going to be going. I'll try and see if I can get him to go.
Dude, yeah. Oh my gosh. But I'm trying to think of the name of the show. Little Busters is also.
Yeah, I've watched it.
It's by It's the same exact way because it's made by the visual novel was made by the same studio. I'm pretty sure the same studio that animated Clannad also animated Little Busters.
I'm pretty. If I remember correctly, but it's been a while since I've watched it. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they're the same ones who made. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same animation company.
It's they're written the same way. They get you cared about
Oh, yeah.
everybody, and then here comes the feels train. Every choo choo,
Oh,
all
yeah.
aboard.
And here's the thing, though. One thing that they did with Clannad is the main feels happened around one or two characters. There was sad moments with all the other characters, yes, but the main feels moment was with the two main characters. With Little Busters, there was sad moments with every single fucking character.
Everybody gets a piece of the sad pie. Oh gosh, I need to rewatch Little Busters.
You'll know who I'm talking about. The one point that definitely made me cry at one point with Little Busters was the girl who kept on losing her memory. What's her name?
Oh yeah, I can't think of her name.
She kept on losing her memory after her brother died. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That especially when you find out why she kept on losing her memory. That part got to me.
That's just no. And see, it's funny that you bring that up because I recently watched an anime movie. Actually, it's like an independent one called Hotori. It's on YouTube. If you get the time, it's like an hour long.
Yeah.
It hurt me in like the exact same way that Little Busters did, and it's like it's like 40 minutes long, right? Like how could it even hurt me? Little Busters was like what 20 something episodes.
I think so. Yeah.
Hotori hurt me on a different level though. Hotori hit different, bro. But yeah.
The one thing though, getting back to at least a little on subject, the one thing that the only other thing that now I think about it made me drop it all together was once again Clannad, except it wasn't the animated series, it was the animated movie. Did you watch the animated movie?
I want to say no. I watched the OVAs, the couple that came out, but I didn't watch the movie.
The movie. I'm sorry, I'm going to be giving away spoilers.
That's fine.
The movie. I stopped watching about halfway through because I got up to because the same thing happened, almost the same exact thing that happens in the anime and in the series happens in the movie.
Okay.
All except for I'm about to be giving away a major spoiler for anyone that hasn't watched the anime. So sorry. I'll leave a timestamp here just to warn people to skip past this part. If you feel like watching Clannad for yourself, skip past this part so you don't get to spoil. But when Nagisa dies in the movie, she doesn't come back. She stays dead.
No!
She stays dead.
Well, that's wonderful.
I was about halfway through the movie when I forget how I found out. But I found out at the end Nagisa doesn't come back and that this ending just stays sad. I didn't even stay around long enough to find out if his daughter still dies. As soon as I found out while watching the movie that Nagisa does not come back like she does in the anime, I stopped watching the movie.
That's wow. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely not going to watch that movie then.
Yeah, in the movie, Nagisa does not come back.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass. Thanks, though. Jeez. Wait, then what's what? See, now I probably do have to watch it because I just have to understand, is it just a really sad movie? It's like it ends and it's like, well, screw you.
From what I understand, because like I said, as soon as I found out that Nagisa doesn't come back, I dropped the movie. So I didn't see the ending. But from what I understand, the movie still ends on a sad note. Like there's no heartwarming ending, like it was with a sort of heartwarming ending, like it did with the animated series. The movie literally ends on a sad note.
Well, you know what? Then in that case, I'm not gonna watch it.
Which I get it. With certain movies and animated movies and anime series, ending on a sad note sometimes makes for a good storyline. Sometimes a really good storyline.
Definitely.
Me personally, I don't like it when animations do that. Because I can't handle it.
Right, exactly.
I get it makes for a good story, and there's some people who prefer that kind of sometimes when animes end on a sad note. But me personally, no. So,
I can barely even handle like a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
Like Madoka's ending, actually both of Madoka's endings. Now I'm thinking about it, the TV and the last movie. I was like, dang, really? Like it didn't end up terribly, but it was still like, it still hurts a little bit, you know?
But that's the other thing I dropped. I dropped watching the movie about halfway through because I found out. Once again, I forget how I found out. But I found out that. Now to think about it, I think I might have posted on Facebook that I was watching it, and someone posted a comment telling me about what happens.
Dang.
Now that I think about it, but yeah, in the movie it differs from the anime, and yeah, in the movie she does not come back.
That's really sad, actually. Oh my gosh. Jeez.
And unlike the movie, unlike the animated series, when the movie definitely differs from the animated series a little. Instead of Nagisa dying in their apartment trying to give birth to their daughter, she actually dies in the movie. She dies in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Because in the hospital, in the movie, they're actually able to get her to the hospital, but she still winds up dying.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. That is very. I did not. I'm not gonna watch this movie. I'm not gonna watch it. But sometimes in the dead of night, I'll be like, man, maybe I should watch the Clannad. Nope. I'm not doing that. That's not on my. No, thank you. But yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to end it off here, guys. Once again, thank you to Andrew for dropping by and joining me on this Rant Show.
Yes.
I will leave all his social media down in the description below, so please check him out. Show him some love when you have the time. Also, for those that do not know, he is also part of a wonderful J-pop and J-pop and J-pop and K-pop dance group called Heartshot Project. I've shown them before on previous vlogs because I'm friends with some of the dancers when I go to cons. I'll leave a link for all their social stuff down below as well, so please show them some love as well. But as always, Andrew, thank you for joining me here on the Rant Show. It's great to actually have finally. You're my first ever guest on the Rant Show, by the way.
Whoa!
Yeah, you're my first ever one. I'm almost 80 episodes in at this point of the Rant Show, and you're the first guest I've ever had.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that crazy? It feels. I remember like the old Rant shows though. Like
the old Rant shows, which I don't know if you were able to tell, but for those of you who don't know, especially I'd say probably like the first 10 or 15 episodes, the camera I was using, I was recording the Rant shows off my phone. I was using them because I didn't have a proper webcam.
Here's the thing though.
So I was recording.
I feel that.
I was recording them off my phone and then transferring them to a computer and editing it on there.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
On a really shitty ass laptop computer, by the way.
Oh, that's
that could barely run the editing program I was using at the time.
Oh my gosh. Now that I feel heavily. Oh man. Well, thanks for having me on here, man. It was fun talking about anime with you.
Yeah. If you guys would like to see, by the way, if you guys would like to see Andrew back on here for another episode, please let me know in the comments below. I'm also going to be trying to get other people in here as well. Some people will be familiar to you, others won't be. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to give anything right away. We'll leave it up in the air for now. But I will see you guys later. Once again, please check out Andrew's social in the description down below. And as well as all of Heartshot Project's social stuff down below as well. Please show them some love, show them support. And I'll see you guys later. As always, peace, love, and chicken grease. Oh, for real. I'll see all my Spock watchers later. As always, welcome to my domain. I will see you guys next time. Please remember to leave a like and a comment down below letting me know what you thought of this episode. And I'll see you guys next time. As always, and forever, peace.
Peace.